Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian, and in today's video, we're going to look on the 60th anniversary coming up of James Bond, of a film that often appears right at the bottom there, or very near the bottom, and I'm going to give this some love and tell you why I actually think it's a lot better than the people have made out, and it's time to give it some love. So here we are. It's Die Another Day from 2002. And it's just a film that I really like. I mean, I like it. It puzzles me so often as why people have such a downer on this. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. It's just incredible, you know. Why do people put this right at the bottom? Now, I can think of certain reasons, and maybe I'll go through them. But you know, you just wonder, don't you, why people? Because I sometimes think on the internet that word kind of gets around. People sort of build on those prejudices. You get the old common mistakes like, oh, it's a weak script, bad CGI, oh, it's too woke nowadays. You know, you get all this kind of stuff going around, and I often think people are just repeating that. You know, and it's time to take another look. Obviously, we all have films that we personally love. I'm not saying this is the best Bond film, but it's certainly not the worst, and as people have been saying. It's directed by a New Zealand guy, Lee Tamahorf, I think. Tamahorfi, that's it, that's the name. Now, for me, this guy immediately wins applause. He was a director of Next, 2007's Nicolas Cage film, which I absolutely adore. So, hey, this guy's cool for me. Yeah, the director. And he brings a real good figure to the script for me. And also, being the 40th anniversary film, it salutes a lot of the past of James Bond. Right. So, the basic story is that Bond has been captured by the North Koreans. He's betrayed by an agent. And basically Bond wants to find the connection between a Korean terrorist, that's what he sent there, and this, I suppose you call him a diamond millionaire trader who's come to their attention. And that is the premise of how the story begins. And I'll tell you something, you show me a better opening than this in all of Bond franchise. There are some great openings in the Bond franchise, and this is up there with them. I mean, the whole thing, as you see, get right into the action, and when he's betrayed and captured, and then we see all the 14 months worth of torture, and the music's playing, and then we'll get back to the music. Yeah, Die Another Day. You see now what the lyrics mean. It's just this continuous torture. It's just brilliantly done. I mean, that sets up the whole film. So I'm thinking, yeah, great, fantastic. And then as the film starts to get into the story, the trade-off, they don't trust Bond anymore. They think that he's betrayed them. They think he's talked, basically. But he has to try and prove himself. So again, what a great idea, what a great story. He has to prove himself again. And we get into the story where he is doing that. And I think then the other controversy, I don't know why it's controversy, is Halle Berry. I don't know why people didn't seem to like him much. What? I'm saying to myself, Halle Berry, she's fantastic. She's really grand. She's sexy. She's just a strong female character. Aha, maybe that could be it. Yeah, a Bond girl who is a strong female character. Though that has been something that has been growing. If you look back at a lot of the Bond films, that is the truth. I mean, you could go right back to Goldfinger with Honor Blackman playing Pussy Galore. You know, there are strong female characters there. And, you know, you could imagine this nowadays. If this was made with Halle Berry again, they'd still be going mad about it, you know. Oh, my God. You know, it's just, you can't believe it. And I love the way Halle Berry's introduced, because the film, the good thing about this film is, because it's the 40th anniversary, it's looking back in some ways at the whole franchise. And we get immediately reminded of when we see Elsa Andress in Dr. No come out of the water. We see her, and then that's how we see Halle Berry. She comes out, and she's just great. You know, Bond think, wow, yeah, there he is. Of course, it's great. She turns out to be an agent as well, from the NSA agent, and she works well with Bond. She's called Jinx. I love that. And there's a bit of humour there as well about I mean, what is wrong with people? She's great in the role. Mind you, I'm biased. I do like Halle Berry. I love her in all the things. I know this might be controversial as well. I love her in Catwoman. And that's been perhaps the most panned film as well. It's me. Maybe I just like supporting films that people seem to take a dislike to for some reason. But I think that this, if you take away your prejudices, this you would consider a good, solid Bond. As I said, it's perhaps not the greatest. I think, as I say, the weakness is the villain. The villain is really not that strong, I don't think. And that is the thing, because the best Bond films always have the best villains. Virtually. There are one or two I could perhaps... I mean, I'm a great fan of Sir Christopher Lee, and he's a fantastic villain in The Man with the Golden Gun. But there are certain weaknesses, I think, in that film which don't quite elevate it to the great films. But that's just my opinion. I'll probably get shot for that. But I think the reason as well is that there's so much love for Daniel Craig and the gritty approach, you know. And I understand that, I get that, and that's put Daniel Craig. And this is considered the last of the old Bond, you know. But, you know, that has prejudiced this film. And I think that's important. You know, people look now, you know, Daniel Craig can't do wrong. I'll tell you something. Spectre, what a disappointment that was. In fact, I would say Spectre is perhaps one of the worst in the whole Bond franchise. There are good things in Spectre, but it's certainly not the great film at all. I know there are Daniel Craig supporters will probably agree on that, but what I'm saying is that this is really a good film that you should really take another look at. Accept it. Yeah, okay. I think as well that people are saying, hey, look, there's a fantasy sequence because you don't have invisible cars. Well, you know, so what? You know, there's always been a sci-fi element in James Bond, fantasy, in fact, that's the James Bond I love. You know, I know people say about the gritty side. Yeah, I appreciate and love the gritty side, but I always start from why I first enjoyed the James Bond film, and the James Bond films always had that fantasy sci-fi element in there. Crikey, an invisible car. And it's explained like a cloaking device. Hello, Star Trek, and I'm a great Star Trek fan as well. Cloaking, what is wrong with people going, oh, look, there's an invisible car. Oh, dear. And the Ice Palace, I love it. It's great idea. The Ice Palace is great. Why are people going, oh, look, there's Ice Palace? You know, it's a great place. I love the way it's filmed. What is wrong? You know, I mean, really, I can't believe it. Oh, product placement. There's always something. Product placement. Hey, bye. Yes, Daniel Craig's series of films. There's a lot of product placement in there, but not the same criticism as goes with this film. You know, so you're beginning to wonder, you know. I think Pierce Brosnan would probably have made one more film, and then that would have been it. Because the problem with Bond is the aging factor, and there is often long gaps. And there's no way Pierce Brosnan would have come in again with that amount of gap and what was going on. And also the fact that the Bond producers had decided they wanted to radically change, and that was it. So this is the last one. But if you look at Brosnan from GoldenEye right through to this, even you can see he's well into the role, but the aging is just beginning there, you know. I do like, I mean, we all know that as much as I really, really do love Roger Moore, you always think when you see A View to Kill, which is not a bad film. Again, that gets a lot of hate, I think, as well. I don't know why, but I think I know why. It's because Roger Moore just seems too old by then. The time has gone by, and it's not the same. But I could, I mean, I probably will try and up people's appreciation of A View to Kill. I know it isn't the best Roger Moore film, but it's not such a stinker as people make out. And this is the same with this film. One more, I think, factor. Madonna does actually have a very small role in this film. It's not really significant, but everybody goes, oh, that terrible theme music. Yes, it's not the greatest Bond film theme, no, but it's not the worst. No, I don't think it's the worst. I think Madonna is a divisive figure anyhow, you know, and if I'm realistic in terms of musical, Madonna is not at her peak by this period, I don't think. She's starting to just be not as interesting musically as she was and as innovative. So maybe that has a certain effect on the music. But it's not the worst. No, it's not the worst. But I think Madonna gets the hate as well. And we shouldn't hate her. It's what happens to artists, you know. They don't always carry on forever being great. You know, the ones that we really love, and they don't always carry on producing their best work. So we shouldn't look at it too badly, you know. But as it isn't the greatest, I know, of the Bond film themes, but it's not the worst, I don't think. So that's a factor as well. It's got great locations still. A lot was the Cuba sequences were filmed in Spain, but and you've got the Iceland sequences and everything. It's another worldwide Bond view, so it looks good again. And let's say, look at these figures. This is interesting. It cost $142 million to make, and you know what? It made $431.3 million. That is a good return, a massive return. And you know what? Up to Casino Royale, it was the highest grossing Bond film. Yes. I think the audience rather loved it. Of course, in North and South Korea, there was quite a political reaction against it. But I think I can see why. But don't, be deflected from that. This did well in the franchise. It really did. It wasn't a disappointment to the public who watched it. I mean, actually, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 56%, which I know is a lower one, and I don't take notice of the critics again, but even they didn't completely think it was a stinker. It was only a few starting to get in later, and these people who like to sort of knock Bond nowadays, I don't know, why is it? I'm sorry, I'm being a bit of a preacher man, but why is it when people actually love something so much, you always feel there's always people starting to knock it? Why knock something? Okay, we sometimes have to accept that things are not as good as we want and things, but there's always this knocking, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm daft or something, but I can see good in a lot of things, you know. Even if you find bits and pieces that you really like, it doesn't mean that the whole thing is terrible, like people write off things. And that's why in my reviews on this channel, I will be always positive, you know. And I'm not, if something really is bad and I don't like it, then I'm not going to review it. What is the point? What is the point of reviewing something that's so terrible? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to spread hate or what have you. So that's just my... Sorry, I don't mean to be preachy, but that's how I feel. But anyhow, if there's something that I want to, you know, try and show some more love to, this is it. This is a great James Bond film. It's not... No, I say it's a great James Bond. It's because James Bond's a great franchise. It's a wonderful set of films. Absolutely fantastic. And it fits in nicely, and we shouldn't hate this film at all, and too many people are there hating it, and I'm here to say, get over it. This is a great film for Bond. It's not the greatest. I know you have to say, hey, boy. No, it's not. It's not. You know, I wouldn't pick it as in my top 5 Bond films. It might squeeze in the top 10. Yeah, it might do. It is a good Bond film. It is a good film. A great, good Bond film. I don't know what to say, but there it is. It's just me. So, I think that's it. I better shut my mouth and let this then get on with whatever you're doing. So, all I've got to say is, as usual, subscribe if you want and hear more of this stuff. If you like it, well, then you know what to do, don't you? Give it a like. Hey, bye, heck. What else? Oh, yeah. I'll see thee, and I'll see thee again.